fishing. People, when you're in the mood, let's go fishing. Well, it's just me and you. Head on down to the fishing hole. Grab your hat, get your pole. Let's go fishing when you're in the mood.
Canadian sport fishing has been brought to you in part by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Yamaha, Conquer Outdoors. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Bait Cloud, bring the fish to you. Easy Docker, docking made easy. You know, this week I'm excited because springtime is finally here. We have had so much rain and cold weather this year that we've got a nice day. It's about 75, 80 degrees Fahrenheit. The leaves are finally starting to come out on the trees. The only challenge is the water's still cold and the water's high, but I've got bass on my mind. If you live in Ontario, the bass season doesn't open until the 3rd week in June. The good news is that in a lot of the northern states, like Michigan and New York, they have an all-year bass season. There are certain times of the year when it's catch and release only, and that's fine because I release most of my bass anyway, but at least you can fish for them. This week we're going to the Detroit River and we're fishing Michigan waters. And Jeri Toner knows the water, so we're actually going to be fishing shallow, but we've got this challenge because of the high water. We're going to be fishing lighter lures and we're going to be making casts close to shore, and I'm hoping that we're going to find them.
First one of the day. I guess I owe you that first glass of wine at the ICHA dinner tonight.
Is that an American dollar or a Canadian dollar? I
That's,
forgot.
that's an American dollar. That's $1.50 actually.
Because I can't open an American bank account if you give me a dollar.
Okay.
So how come down here, I know we're fishing in Michigan, so I'm like, this is your home field,
yeah.
You know, I'm at a place, but how come everybody's walleye fishing when they can have fun catching bass? What's with that?
I just don't think that they're very well educated.
Ah,
They're like
okay.
Mike Borovic, you know what I mean?
I mean, Mike likes to fish for sunfishes, right? Bluegill, pumpkin seed, so I don't know why he doesn't go for bass. I mean, they're bigger, they fight harder.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not a whooshy, but this is so nice on the knees, like if you kneel down to land a fish.
Oh, yeah.
It's a nice little largie to start off with.
Yeah.
Come on, you. Didn't have you out very long. There he goes. Look, he looks so beautiful. Actually, the water's a little bit clearer here.
It is clearer down here.
You know, the only thing I feel bad for them is that the water's still cold, right? It's like 50-some degrees,
Yeah.
58. So they don't have a lot of energy. But we're not going to see too many jumps,
Yeah,
you know, clearing the water and stuff. Okay, I shouldn't have said anything. I love bass fishing, you know, and especially because we got this high water, this is kind of like saltwater fishing. We fish for redfish along the mangroves.
Yeah.
It's so lush in here, and it's just, you know.
Yeah, so I've been monkeying around this morning with lots of different lures, and I started out with that 7-inch zipper worm.
I was going to call you the Nutty Professor. What the heck?
I know. That's
Half
what
the
most
time
people-
I've been fishing, you've been messing around.
I have, and I finally settled upon the Case Wacky Jack.
Yeah?
With a little bit of weight to it because it has a very slow fall, so I wanted just a little bit more of a fall to it than, you know, you would normally have. And first cast, and he ate it right up.
Would you still call that a wacky rig?
Yeah, it's a wacky rig.
It's just with a weighted hook?
Yeah, just
right?
with a weighted hook, just to give it a little bit more motion as it works through the water.
All right. We got such nice conditions in here. It's not too windy. What are you going to do, bass? Beautiful. This is the Zipper 4-inch Pudgy. I think it's got a cute name, but what I really like is the color. It's called Moonshine. So this is what it looks like when you look for them in stores, and this is what it looks like rigged up. Now, I had the privilege of seeing what the action is like when this thing is fished on a head like this, a shaky head, and I'll tell you, it has a very tantalizing action, and it does fall down because it's a little football head, so it actually stands up a little bit off bottom. The heads are very important in the jigs that you're using. Because most of the fishing we did today was in water shallower, I'm going to say than about 8 feet, anywhere from 2 to 8 feet, we're using very light lightly weighted hooks. We weren't really using the wacky worms just straight with a hook because we wanted to fall down so we could cover water a little quicker. This is a 5/0 hook, roughly, but it's a light wire, so it's not too heavy, but it's stiff enough that it won't open up when you hook up a fish. You know, both smallmouth bass and largemouth bass are part of the sunfish family, and the sunfish family being the bluegill, the pumpkin seed, and so on. So they actually love to live in the same area. The largemouth bass more so. They like shallower water, water anywhere from 1 to about 12 feet in depth, though they can adapt to deeper water, and they like, for the most part, quieter water. They don't like strong current. And we're using, for the most part, like 4 to 5 inch plastic grubs. Oh, got him.
You got him?
Yep.
All right.
It's not a bass. Yeah, he's actually not a bad size.
That is a good-sized pike, my Lord.
I love the way he's telling me off. Okay.
Wow.
Missed the swim platform. He's no monster, but you know what? I can barely get my hands around him.
That's a nice one.
Look it. Can you see how nice that worm, the moonshine, looks there hanging out on that little head? You know, sometimes you don't have to use a big bait to get a good-sized fish. And the hook just fell out, and I can still use it. It's not ripped apart.
Terrific.
Yeah. Okay, beautiful. Nice pike. Just gonna get him back in. Nice and easy. Fella, used a lot of energy. I'm gonna be gentle with you. There it goes. Closed captioning is brought to you by K100. We make water burn.
I think it's a largie.
Okay, get him up slowly. Should I do the Bassmaster grab again? Or?
Yeah, you can. Wow, look at this. This has got to be a largemouth.
That is a slab rock bass.
Oh, my gosh.
Is this a micro thing? Is that what you're fishing for, Pan? You hold him. Here, you haven't held a fish yet.
Not
We're
bad.
getting a good variety.
Yeah.
We're gonna let him, he's probably going to be spawning soon, so
Yeah.
we should let him go back to business. When you fish soft plastics and you fish them slow, there's a name for them called finesse fishing. So when you finesse fish, you'd fish very slow because you recognize that the fish are inactive. And early in the year, for example, this week, the water temperatures are anywhere from about 58 to 62 degrees Fahrenheit. And that would be considered on the cool side. So because fish are cold-blooded, their metabolism is governed by the water temperature, and their metabolism is going to be slower. So these finesse baits are designed to get fish to strike that normally wouldn't chase a fast-moving lures. So I actually tell people that you can't fish a finesse bait too slow. Sometimes, even in between jigs or lifting your bait up, when your bait is just sitting on the bottom, especially if you use a stand-up type jig head, a fish will come up and grab it, even when it's motionless. You know what? It's not a whopper like yours, but they're fun to get in between the largemouth bass.
They fight pretty well, don't they?
I'm amazed at how aggressive they are. This is on that 4-inch zipper. It's got that nice curly tail, and to me it looks just like a goby going along the bottom.
Yeah.
So no problem them grabbing it. You know, a lot of people go back, throw them back, but look at how pretty they are.
They're
Look at the black
gorgeous.
outlines.
Gorgeous.
Someplace they call them red eye. Did you know that?
Yes.
You knew that, right? Because of their red eyes. I'm going to toss him back. He's going to be fine. He turns into a flying fish and he takes off. Like, look, this is this zipper 4-inch worm. You can see that it looks kind of like a goby because a goby is wider at the front and tapered at the back. So, and it's not a really fast-dropping lure. Even with like an 1/8 ounce jig head, you can see it has a really nice drop rate. Actually, that sounds like a fish whistle. Actually, it's not a fish whistle. What it is an Owaki tool. And what these are the actual rubber gaskets that you put on a worm when you're doing a wacky rig, just like this. So if some of you haven't fished this, it's called wacky because it's wacky, but I'll tell you what, it catches a lot of fish. And Jeri did really well today using this big size worm right here. And I'm going to show you how you rig it with the Owaki tool. So, normally you can get gaskets like this, and get them in a package, you know. They sell them in most tackle stores. But the problem is trying to slide those gaskets because they're kind of narrow and hard onto the worm. Sometimes when you try to, you know, especially if the worms are treated with any kind of scent or they've got oil from the production of the worms, you know, or salt on them, they can be really tough to get on there, and the worm can actually get torn before you even get it on there. So look at this tool. You take one of these and you slide them up, and they get wider, of course, and then you take your worm and you put it about where the collar is inside. So this is really smart. And what I like too is that this is aluminum, it's not plastic, so it's gonna last forever. When you get it about there, you just take that rubber gasket and just pop it on. And you can see how tight it is. You can hardly breathe. You see that? Right there, it's gone, which is good. So, and then what you do is you take your hook. In this case, I have the hook already there. You take it and just pass it underneath the actual gasket. So the reason you do that is twofold. When a fish grabs it, very seldom can it, I think it's impossible for it to tear the worm away from the hook, because the hook is not into the worm, it's just in the actual gasket. So it actually stays on there really well.
You got him.
Got him.
You rascal.
Got him.
That's a largie.
Got him.
Good job, man.
Call me the cleanup crew, the closer. Thanks for priming it.
Yeah, no problem.
You know, it was nice because we came around this point and Jeri had this fish come up twice, right on the surface.
Did you have to say that? Thanks, Italo.
Yes, no, you primed them. You get the assist, you know, like in
right.
other sports.
Yeah, it's like a
Can I
goal.
tell you something, though?
Yeah.
That wasn't him. Yours
No,
was
it wasn't.
bigger.
Yeah, you're right.
So, you know what? I think
gotta
you should still work it.
fish that
yeah,
point.
I'm going to take the hook up, but I'm going to still... Yeah, that guy was twice as big. He
So
was
Don
like
is right. This area is
2.5, 3 pounds. Nice little largemouth. You know, it's early in the year, and we've had some really high water levels. Even if you look here, you can see that the water's right up to almost the docks, and in some places, the docks are underneath the water. So it's throwing fishermen for a little bit of a loop. So what we're doing is we've got to fish a lot shallower than we normally would. You know, I really appreciate understanding fish behavior and fish habitat. And it's nice that we're working with the Go Fish cams. And we actually put down the cameras in between fishing today, and we were studying the fish that were going along the shore. The reason I did that was to see what fish species were moving in there, because the water was a little discolored. But with the camera, I could still see what was down there. We saw some suckers go by. We saw a lot of pumpkin seed that were kind of curious, and then even some bass, but the bass were shy. They were in the background. So what that told me was that it's very important to make longer casts, not to get too close to shore, even though we want to fish that shoreline break. Is that new line? Okay, you're gonna flip them up?
Yeah.
Is that heavy enough line?
Oh, yeah.
That's the way to do it. I'm not touching it.
I'm going to touch him.
Could you, look at you.
I know.
No problem.
I know, that's right.
That's awesome.
Case Plastics little magic stick.
Do you think it was the same one?
No, I don't think so. I think that mine was
The
a
other
lot
was bigger?
bigger. The other one was a lot bigger.
Are you gonna lift him up? Don't break that rod. Look at you, girl. I'm not touching it.
Got him.
What are you?
I got him.
Good. Beautiful. And that worm right where it's supposed
Oh,
to
pretty.
be.
Look,
Beautiful.
fatty, little pregnant female.
I don't know, but it's healthy and it fought good.
Yeah.
You're on a roll.
Yeah.
Gee, let me get a cast in. Let me see. You know, this was the first summer-like day that we've had all spring, and it was kind of nice because Jeri had a chance to fish out of a G3 boat. She has a beautiful bass boat, and she fishes, you know, a lot of the events that are close to her in Michigan, especially a lot of the charity events, you know. And this year, we're actually going to the ICHA, Handy Capable Fishing Derby. We're going to be there in just a few minutes, and we're going to see a lot of kids. And Jeri not only fished with me in the show, but her company, Fishing Complete, also donates a lot of gifts. They give soft plastic baits to all of the kids that are there, and they also give some additional prizes.
Say I'm good with that.
You think I'm kidding?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
To have your present.
Can I kiss it? Here,
Kiss it together, there you go.
there.
kiss it?
Good for you, okay. Can you grab it okay? Do you need the net?
No, I got it.
Okay.
I can actually...
Good job. Look at you. Perfect. Well done.
Oh, how beautiful that fish is, Italo.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
I got to give him a little...
Yep, he should revive pretty quick. The water's still pretty cold. I like the way you're giving him the wave.
There he goes.
Good. You know what these are called? They're called Big Mama. I'll tell you why. These plastic worms are 11 inches long, and they're designed to really get aggressive fish to hit. I love the smell of plastic worms when I'm on the water. And look at these. They almost look like jelly. Isn't that? They're translucent. Maybe that's why. So if you're going to use a big worm like this to get the right action, unless you're fishing them, you know, in really shallow water, you should be using a heavier worm weight. Most people would use a bullet sinker. I prefer to use the ones that actually have a screw lock, so you can screw them right in at the front of the worm so they don't slide up and down. You can peg them with a toothpick, or you can, put them up the line and even use a bobber stop to prevent the, if you're using a Carolina rig and so on. So when you're using a big worm like this, you should be using 1/4 ounce or heavier bullet sinker, and you should be using at least a 6 or 7 odd worm hook like the one I'm holding up. Now this is a double X strong, so it's really hard to bend. And the other thing I would suggest, I'm going to just show you here, when you rig the worm, you don't just put the hook so that it's right at the end of the worm. The way I rig my long worms, I actually thread the hook on, and remember I have the line on there already, so I'll actually put the worm up the hook so that the line is going inside the worm, and I let the hook come out about, I'm going to say, maybe 2 inches down, because I want it when the fish grabs it that it's going to hook well. So you got to do this carefully and slowly so that you don't wreck your worm. So remember, my line is going to be going through there, and now you kind of measure with your eye where you're going to be putting the hook in, and in this case it would most definitely be a Texas rig worm. So I would put it in and I would hook it so that the worm is hanging pretty straight down the line, okay, just like that. So you're ready to fish. So I also find that when the weight is up here, instead of being the hook being tight to it, they actually get a lot of flexing from the longer worms. And when a bass does go for it, a largemouth, even like a 2-pound bass, it tends to go for the head. It doesn't go and try to nip at the tail. You'd be surprised that even a small 1-pound bass will get hooked on using an 11-inch worm. So the Big Mama is for big bass if you want to catch them. When it comes to largemouth bass fishing, I'm not sure why I got hooked on it. I mean, they're fun to catch. One of the reasons is you can get them in the middle of the day. They love warm weather. I mean, you can be fishing in the middle of summer, it can be 80 degrees out, and the weed growth is right up in the lake. There's lily pads and everything, and those bass are active when other fish are not. Once you locate them, as long as you're using something that's of interest to them, you'll probably catch them pretty easily. You know, we had a great day yesterday fishing with Jeri toner for largemouth bass on the Michigan side of the Detroit River. And today we get to celebrate and join a lot of people here at the 17th ICHA Handy Capable Fishing Derby. We're right in downtown Windsor. You can see the bridge, the Ambassador Bridge in the background. We've got so many people here from all over. Some of the volunteers have come 8 to 10 hours away to be here. We've got people from the US, people from Canada, and you can see that there's participants of all ages here. So they're anywhere from kids right up to 50, 60-year-olds. And the one thing that they have in common, they're handy capable, all different levels. But it's so wonderful to see them out because for many of them, this is the only day that they really get treated where they can be on the water. And we're blessed with a beautiful day. And all the equipment is provided for them. He's hooked nicely just in the roof of the mouth. And come on, there we go. And I'm gonna see if I can just lift them.
Very
I'm going to
nice.
do one of your things. Let's see how strong these concept rods are. This is a light.
He's got a weird eye.
No, but look at how light. I'm looking at how light he's hooked. I'm amazed how you set the hook on the fish and you think you got him hooked up real well. But look at the hole, even just that fighting created right there. You can see the gap. He's not a monster, but he's a beautiful looking fish. gonna keep him there for a second. He should take right off. Come on, are you gonna go? There he goes, beautiful. There's a gazillion plastic worms on the market, but I gotta tell you that the zipper line of worms, especially the ones that I'm showing you here, are very unique, and there's a reason why, and they work really well. So I've got two sizes here. This is the 4-inch size, this is the 7-inch size. And I've got two completely different colors. So the one color is a very natural color, and I find that I can use this rigged up just on a worm hook if I'm fishing in shallow water, but I can also use it on a shaky head, or you can use it on a jig head if you're fishing in open water away from the weeds and fish it along the bottom. The larger one, the 7-inch, is ideal for using with a 5 to 7-odd worm hook and for hooking it up either with a sliding bullet sinker or one that's locked in the location. Come on, are you gonna jump again? Yeah. Jeri, nice one. Can you flip it up? Oh, don't hit the boat. That's bigger. Look at beautiful fish. Beautiful. Nice largemouth, eh?
Yeah.
So you're having fun? The whole idea was to
great
have
time.
fun.
Thank you.
This is great. By the way, Jeri brought a lot of these baits with her because she wanted me to try some of the different colors. And you know what? They're working well. Okay, we do it very gently, very gently. Come on. We're going to be like the sportsman people. Let them revive for a second. We're going to hold them out a little bit. And then let's let them swim off. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's like the one you had on.
You bet.
Look at you. Good job. You were fast. Man, you were like a bear there.
No.
On it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he's probably between 3 and 4.
Holy moly, what a nice
largemouth.
fish.
Yep. Isn't that a nice largemouth?
Gorgeous
I
fish.
love the spots, eh?
He's little, get ready to spawn there.
Yeah, yeah. That's like a tournament fish. You know, you
Heck
want to have
yeah.
those in your live well.
All day
And then
long.
work for a big one. You know,
bet.
a 5, 6 pounder. So it's a love affair.
Yes.
I know you think I'm weird. Look, what a beautiful bass. Bye-bye. Bye, go big. Canadian sport fishing has been brought to you in part by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Yamaha, Conquer Outdoors. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Bait Cloud, bring the fish to you. Easy Dockers, docking made easy. Look at those nice blotches down the side. It's got nice colors. Remember, these are part of the sunfish family. You just can go real big. Not so big up here up north. You know, you get a big largemouth, it's probably in the 6, 7 pound range. Some places in the world, they're like 15, 20 pounds, like in California or Mexico or Cuba, places like that. We're gonna get him back in. He gave me a nice little scrap.